Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Colleen. I write science fiction and fantasy stories. Today I just wanted to give a little update. I've been writing a lot the past few weeks. I haven't gotten far yet just because I actually went back and restructured some of the scenes. So some of them are a bit longer now. All in all, I have, I think, almost like 40,000 words. It's still, I think, from the last chapter I ended on, it was going into Act 2. I haven't gotten far into Act 2 yet, but more of the scenes in Act 1, especially the beginning chapters, have been expanded, so it's like they're a little bit longer now, and they have the pacing is not too fast anymore. I kind of slowed it down a little bit just because it's, the first two chapters, they're kind of the introductory chapters for both main characters, and there are some words that could be unfamiliar. Most of the words that I used to describe, the tech in this world, it's based off of like real life. I think it's just the tech that Nikos invents that kind of needs more explanation. But all in all, most of the jargon that I use, they're not really specific to this world, to this story. Most of them, it's like, basic sci-fi words, or like not even sci-fi, but like actual words, or not slang. I guess you could say slang for scientific, not even slang. What was the word? Like shorthand for some scientific equipment, like medication. What else did I use? Medication, equipment, gadgets. Yeah, so it's not really like, they're not, I tried to kind of be specific to this world, but also something like I use words that are familiar as well, just so it doesn't require like a lot of explanation. Of course, like some of them, like there's the like a cell phone that they use, but it's more like a watch, not really a watch, but like something that they put on their arm that they use to, connect. It's like I guess it's like a smartwatch, but it's more complex, and it's, connected to their, it could be connected to their synthetic eyes, or like, a heads not headset, glasses, like smart glasses, something like that. So there are some gadgets that have unique usage that needs a little bit of an explanation, but it doesn't. I kind of name them so that it doesn't, it's kind of like, obvious what they do. But yeah, some of them, specifically the main sci-fi tech that is in the story, that's kind of what I needed to explain a bit more. I try not to explain it in a way that, it's written for the reader. I want to make it much more natural, so that like it doesn't feel like this part of the story was written specifically so that readers know what this tech is. But yeah, I've been writing a lot. Me and my sister, we go to the library almost every other day and write for like 2 hours, and then it is helpful because it forces me to focus. Writing at home, sometimes because of like so many things that are there, like, the bed, the TV, like it makes me much more unfocused. Like I get distracted by like the numerous things that I could be doing. But at the library, I only have my laptop. I mean, obviously, you can do a lot of things on your laptop, but because, like the internet on, like at the library, it's not like the fastest, so you can't stream. I mean, you can. I haven't tried it yet because sometimes it's not actually that fast. And using your hotspot, sometimes the connection isn't as that good as well. So yeah, it limits a lot of things, a lot of distractions. So I was able to write, I think the first two chapters, they're about 12 to 15,000 words altogether. So they're much longer now compared to before. And I'm not done with some of the revisions yet, so it could be longer. I am trying to make the chapters longer just because if I think about it, like it's not the story itself, it's not really long. Like it doesn't occur, in multiple days. I mean, it does happen in multiple days, but it's not like those fantasy stories where like months pass by or like years where something doesn't happen. So it's not really long in that aspect, and it does happen really fast just because there is a time limit kind of built into, like, at the start of unit 490's chapter point of view. Time is not on his side or on its side. Like, right from the start there's a timer counting down on how long it has left to live. So it's established right away that things are going to happen really fast because of this timer. The two POVs, they happen at the same time. It's just alternating perspective, but the timeline itself, it doesn't jump from past to future or anything like that. So everything kind of happens at the same time, and I'm choosing which part to show and which part not to show. I'm actually debating on adding another POV, probably not as much, like for unit 490 and Nikos, they're basically 50-50, but I'm thinking of adding another, maybe one or two POV that's kind of just like a supporting perspective, just because I feel like some parts of the story would benefit from a different perspective. I was thinking of adding one of the girls from the, what do you call it, the shop that unit 490 eventually works at, or basically the girl that helps unit 490 at the junkyard. I was thinking of having her perspective in some parts, and also maybe Cal, who is Nikos' friend. I think I would really like to have Cal as one of the point of view, but I feel like it would make the story a little less sci-fi and more of a, not really like a medical drama, but like it does kind of become a bit more of a drama. Like what genre would that? Not really, like it's still sci-fi, but it's not focusing on the tech anymore if I put Cal's perspective. So that's kind of where I'm a bit concerned at, whether it takes away from the sci-fi genre. I don't know. I do think that having Cal's perspective enhances some of Nikos's decisions, as well as Cora, the girl that helps Unit 490. I feel like having her perspective would broaden the struggles that Unit 490 and other androids face in the world. Maybe actually not Cora, but Minette, the sister. Maybe have her, either one of those two. I think Cora can be one of the perspective, but she is like really young, so I don't think her perspective would have the same mood as the other perspective. I don't know if, like, I'm trying to keep the same mood but obviously have different voices. I know for Cora, she's a bit more like outgoing, cheerful. She's a young girl. I think I made her 14. She used to be 16, but I think it was when I was rewriting the chapters I realized that it would be better if she was younger. So, and from the way I was writing her anyway from the start, she did sound younger than 16. I think Minette, who is like 20-ish, would be better, and she has not experience, but because she's older, she remembers more things that happened to them. Like, I know when I started writing these characters, I kind of know their backgrounds. I don't know like everything about them, obviously. Like, I don't know their favorite food or whatnot. That's not kind of how I make characters. I usually like just find an event in their life that made them who they are today, or like an event that became a turning point in their lives, things that developed their flaws, their strengths. So that's kind of how I first create a character. So yeah, I think Minette would be a better fit. But just because Korra and Unit 490 has a much better relationship, that's kind of why I was thinking of putting Korra as the perspective. When I was first writing the draft, I got far enough into the story that it's bringing in the the conflict. Right now, I think because I don't really like I don't have a lot of experience writing like longer works. I'm like really struggling on when to begin showing I know that there should be like hints as to who the not even just antagonist but like what sort of conflict the characters will be facing, but I don't know. I guess it depends on what kind of story you're making, but I know for like longer works like those fantasy books that are like really long, it takes a while to establish everything and then introduce the conflict. So I guess it just depends on what you're writing. I feel like just because I've only ever written short fiction, it's making my pacing really fast. Like I want to introduce things right away and like move things along, but it does make sense to take it slower, introduce the characters, introduce the world. It's just that it's really important to be able to capture the reader's attention. I guess that's probably why one like books these days are like really short. But there's the book that I really like, that I just recently read, The Sun-Blessed Prince and the Moon-Blessed King. I really like the duology there. It's really nice. Like it's written well. The only thing that I had an issue with is that I feel like it could have been a longer book, like a longer, like each book could be longer, or even like make it like more than 2 books, because the world, it's just like, it's not big. I mean, it's big, but it's not like huge, like Lord of the Rings kind of huge. Like it's not that big, but I feel like because it has like court politics. But yeah, it could have been longer because I understand having the point of view of those 2 main characters. One of the characters, Fenlia, I kind of didn't understand why she had a POV, but if she had a POV, I feel like other characters could have their own POV as well, just because it's not like, for me, it's a huge world. Like we could have had perspectives from other characters to enhance the story. But still though, it's a really good duology. I really enjoyed it. I listened to it. The audiobook is really good. And I also have a copy of both books. But yeah, it's really good. I wanted more. Not just like more as in like after the story ended, but like in the current, like the events of the book itself. I wish there were more things in there. Same as my own work. I feel like it would benefit with having more info, more of everything in there. I think if I did write it the way I'm used to, like fast pace, I think it would still kind of convey the story, but it would take away a lot of the internal processing that readers need to have while reading, so that they really understand the gravity of what's happening in the characters' lives. I think that's why most of the longer fantasy books are that big, because they handle like a lot of complex conflicts and just issues that are heavy, like heavy topics, heavy issues. And also because most of the issues that are there are kind of like reflecting real life issues, which require processing. I haven't read any sci-fi books that are like thick yet. Most of the sci-fi books that I read are really small. I started reading, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the Blade Runner book, Do Androids Dream of Electric sheep. I haven't gotten far just because I was trying to finish the NetGalley art books that I received, and I'm like really behind on them. But yeah, I think I would like to read more books that are longer. I don't know much about other genres like romance. I Most of the romance books that I read are basically romantasy. Not really, they're fantasy books, and they have a bit of romance in them. But I haven't actually read any books that are specifically romantasy. I think the one that I read was the Poisoner. I don't know if that's romantasy, but there's romance in it. But yeah, I really want to read thicker books and be able to write longer works. I've been reading. Actually, I just finished The Secret World, The Secret World of Briar Rose by Cindy, the YouTuber Cindy reads with Cindy, or Read with Cindy. The book itself, I knew from the start when I heard about the book, like read the synopsis and like heard about the book from Cindy. It's I knew from the start that it's not my style of book, but I did read it. There are parts of it that, all in all, yeah, the book wasn't for me. I see how it is enjoyable to other people. Enjoyable as in like they were hooked. It is a sad book. It deals with the grief, depression. As someone who has depression, I did relate to them in some ways. It's just that as a person, I'm more active. Like whenever I feel down, I kind of actively try to figure out what's making me feel this way, pursue things that would not just make me think less of how down I feel, but rather whenever I do things that I used to enjoy and can't enjoy it anymore because of depression, I do try to engage with them again. It's hard because I know, like, there's been times that you just want to lay down and sleep and never wake up. Like, I understand that. It's just the passivity of the characters, or Briar Rose specifically, is something that I don't understand. I think there are, like, I get it. It's hard to explain, but I get it. It's I did feel that way multiple times in the past few years. So I understand. I think it's mainly because of the medication that makes, and also therapy, that makes me understand how to react when I'm feeling depressed. I think it does make sense. The book, I think, is YA, so it does make sense that some of the reaction by the characters, they're a bit a little bit immature, but it's not. I think if I read it when I was younger, I would have liked it a bit more. But yeah, I definitely not enjoyed. I like the part with Corin and her sister. I have a sister, so it's whenever there's a book or movie or whatever that involves siblings that really care for each other, it's like it I love it because I love my sister. Like, she's like my best friend, so I understand whenever portrayals of siblings are that intense. Those parts, like, it's fine. It's just some of the things regarding depression, I understand. I understand. There's also the ending, which I was a bit confused, not confused, but like made me question the choice. But yeah, I don't want to like say that it's a bad book, but there are just some things about it that I didn't personally relate to or like. I think just because I read an arc, so I don't know if I know some of the errors that I saw were corrected in the final books. I have a copy of the physical final book as well. I sell it on my website. I sell it. I do see why people enjoy it, though. It's not that I'm saying no one should read it because it's bad. No, saying that it's not something I enjoy now. I'm pretty sure I would enjoy it, like, when I was younger. But yes, I do have the book available on our online store. So I saw the corrected version, but yeah, so I think maybe I should read the corrected version again, as well, because I read the arc and there were a few errors in there. But yeah, it's not for me, but I understand why it's very popular and why, it's a bestseller. I started Affairs of State. I forgot the author. Affairs of State. I think it might be released now, because I'm really behind on my art books. So I'm guessing I'm guessing that's probably released already, but I'm reading Affairs of State. I'm still on the first or second chapter, or third chapter actually. But there are some things about the writing that confuses me. I don't know if I'm just missing something. The use of pronouns. I don't know if I missed something, but or maybe it's because it's an arc, but sometimes the pronouns jump around. Um, the way they use words like emperor, prince, it's not based on gender. So like the emperor is, I can't even say if the emperor is a woman, but the characters use she her pronouns. But when they first introduce the emperor, they use he him pronouns. So I'm really confused. And then when they use the word prince, they use she her pronouns. So I'm not quite sure if it's say like if it's a way of saying that they're, I don't know, there's no gender gendered words in their language, or if it's an error. I don't know. It just confuses me. I need to read it again. Maybe I missed something. But it's from what I've read, it's okay. It's not. Some just the pronouns are confusing me, because they did talk about the emperor, who, when they haven't introduced the person yet, was referred to as he him. But when they introduced the actual emperor's name, they were like, oh, she is, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if they're talking about a different emperor, but it didn't seem like it, because they were talking about how this new emperor just, started 12 years ago. Not even new, but like this newest recent emperor started ruling 12 years ago. And I'm like, okay, so it's whatever. It just confuses me. But it's not, it's sci-fi, and has a lot of court politics. It's, I don't know how hard of a sci-fi it is, but it's okay. I haven't gotten far, but from what I've read so far, I think it is my style of story. I like sci-fi that is not too hard. Just because there are some things, when it's a hard sci-fi, there are some things that I don't understand. Even if I read about it and try to learn about it, it's sometimes the idea, the theory is too complex, or something that's too abstract for me to actually grasp. I'm not sure if I'm autistic, but I am neurodivergent. And some things in, not just, science, but also in like literature, some things I just don't understand, just because it's not grounded enough. I don't know how to explain it. Like metaphors, sometimes, like I sometimes I don't understand some sayings, not even saying, what's the word, I guess it's saying, or like, phrases that some people use. I can't think of one at the top of my head. I guess one of those at the top of my head, like, for me, whenever I'm trying to understand, sentences, paragraphs, whatever, I think of them so literally that that's the only way for me to understand what is being said. So sometimes when people use abstract language, it just doesn't, like, it doesn't process in my head. So metaphors, only the ones that I'm really familiar with, I use. But like, other than that, if I don't know if I don't know what it means word for word, I don't use it, because I might be using it in a wrong way. I always ask my sister what something means. And then, like, obviously that's, I know that it means that because I've heard of it, but like, it just doesn't process in my head. I don't know. It definitely makes writing more difficult in a way that, most of my sentences, my word, like the way I write, it's not literal, but it is very straightforward. I know this because I know that I'm not using a lot of metaphors, or like, I mean, I use simile, but like barely. So yeah, I know that it's one of my weakness. um and I am trying to work on that. I just, for this work anyway, I don't think it needs like a lot of metaphor. um I did have one story. I might go back to that one actually, because it's a pretty interesting world, and it's not that it uses a lot of metaphor, but it is very, not flowery, but it does have more of a purple prose to it. I guess because I think the way that I wrote it, it's very dramatic. Not dramatic like melodrama, but it has a lot of strong image, strong description, that kind of made it a little bit dramatic in some ways. But yeah, for this one though, it's very straightforward. Yeah, I think that's all that I've been doing. I don't know, I think I updated last June or May, I'm not quite sure. But that's my update for July. I probably won't finish this book by the end of this year, but I will most likely be happier with how it turns out, because if I continued writing the way I had been from the start, I don't think I would have liked the outcome of my story. I decided to stop thinking that just need to write. I understand how it does force and eventually, create a habit for writers to get past the block in their head from writing. But for me, if I did continue down the path of just writing whatever comes out, obviously about the story, but if I continued that way, I feel like, not even feel, because I have done that before, and I probably would not like how the story would end, and majority of the words that I have written would have been edited heavily. Not just edited, actually, maybe even deleted. But right now, I am much more pleased with how the story is turning out. It's, I mean, I don't really care about the timeline of when I'm gonna finish the book, but I want to be able to properly tell the story, instead of just, rushing to finish in a year or in 2 years. I don't really mind how young or how old I am when I get published, if I get published. But it doesn't really matter. I don't really care. I have a life outside writing. I do enjoy writing, and my dream is to get published, but it's not gonna, I don't know, it's not gonna make or break me. But yeah. Anyway, that's it for my update this month. I will see you again, hopefully in August, if not September. But I'll try to make one, make a video for next month. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking around, and I'll see you on my next one.